I have to admit, I kind of miss Joy Reid because not only is she completely insane, she's one of the biggest race grifters you've ever seen, which makes her highly entertaining to watch. And she has not changed one bit ever since being fired from MSNBC for extremely low ratings. But what we're seeing today, of course, is her complaining about how white people are apparently just the worst thing ever. But before we get to these clips, don't forget to like and comment on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
And because they're trying to aspire to that card, that white card has more power than money in America. Yeah. And so the fear of the economic elite is always that the non-elite will all get together and French Revolution their ass. And the easiest way to keep white people out of the fight against capitalism is to make white people side with the elite based on that card. And so the trick really, they think it's a trick on you and me. The trick is on white people. Because what they're doing is they're saying, I would rather Donald Trump be a billionaire than I be able to pay my rent and eat. Because that card is more valuable to me than my rent. It's more valuable to me than anything. But he embodies the greed, the shamelessness, the lasciviousness of capitalism. They can't fix the history they did. Their ancestors made this country into a slave hell. But they can clean it up now because they got the Smithsonian. They can get rid of all the slavery stuff. They got PragerU. They can lie about the history to the children. They can't originally invent anything more than they ever were able to invent good music. We black folk gave y'all country music, hip hop, R&B, jazz, rock and roll. They couldn't even invent that, but they have to call a white man the king, because they couldn't make rock and roll. So they have to stamp the king on a man whose main song was stolen from an overweight black woman. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Think about the lyrics. Why would a man, you ain't nothing but a hound dog, lying all the time? That's a song a woman sings about a man. He stole that song and made it a hit because he couldn't invent rock and roll. Even the Beatles knew that. They were like, we didn't invent this shit. We're singing black people's music. The Stones admitted it. So my whole thing is, when you invent a country where you don't tell white people that they need to innovate. Even Elon Musk didn't invent them damn Teslas. 2 other men invented it. He just bought it. And so when you tell them you don't have to be excellent, you just have to be white, you will get mediocrity. You will get mediocrity because they're not asking white people to be great. They're not asking them to be great. They're telling them you can be the opposite of great and be defense secretary. You can be the opposite of great and be Homeland Security Secretary. They're telling white people a lie so that they will believe that they have achieved when all they're doing is thieving greatness from other people. And I actually think that is a shame for white America, because if you raised your kids that way, you would get brats, you would get monsters, you would get demons you don't even want at Thanksgiving. But we're raising an America that is mediocre on purpose because we don't want to tell Donald Trump that he is a fucking failure. But he is.
You all just got taken to church by Sunday school teacher Joyanne Reid.
Okay, let me go ahead and start by saying that was a bit too much cursing for a church sermon. All right, so yeah, we were not taken to church. That was just the ramblings of a mad woman, a racist mad woman, okay? Because I don't care if you're black or white or Hispanic or whatever, okay? Everybody has the same ability to create new things. However, in this country, in America, all the stars align because of the freedoms we've been offered according to our Constitution to create some of the greatest innovations in the world. And yes, many of them were in fact by white people. So yeah, we didn't invent rap, right? Rock and roll did in fact come from blues music, right? That is all true. But guess what Americans created who just happened to be white? Electricity, the airplane, the cell phone, the internet, right? All of those sound like really good inventions to me, okay? And Elon Musk, yeah, true. He didn't invent Tesla. He did buy it, but he didn't make it a heck of a lot better. But who were the inventors? A couple of white dudes. But of course, none of that matters to Joy Reid because she's stuck in this weird reverse DEI phase where you don't have to be good, you don't have to be great as long as you're white. okay? Whatever her beef happens to be, we want to have exceptionalism for all Americans, no matter the color. And the way you do that, of course, is by economic freedom. But of course, Joy Reid is also saying, oh, the elites are trying to divide us so that we all won't join together and fight capitalism. Why in the world would we want to fight against capitalism? Okay, look around the world at places that don't have capitalism. Look at the destitution that the citizens are in. Look at the state of their lives. Look at how much money they make. Look at the garbage they have to live in and live with. Look at the crime rates. And yet you're going to come out and say that capitalism is the big great evil that we all should be coming together to fight against? No, we should be joining up to fight against the corruption in the system, the crony capitalism, right? Giving contracts to people who are family or friends and all of that stuff. That's something we should be coming around to, not, of course, the idea of socialism or whatever other scheme you want to try to replace capitalism with, right? That's completely insane. It's almost like Joy Reid has never looked into history before. And speaking about history, yeah, she brings up the Smithsonian, right? All we're trying to do with the Smithsonian is make sure the history doesn't have a bias lean to it, okay? Because if you have a whole bunch of displays that talk about, oh, how awful America was, how horrible white people were, that leaves off basically the whole part where white people have been against slavery since the founding of this country, right? Just not all of them. And guess what else? White people actually fought against slavery, right? Just not all of them. But when you have only one message, all that's going to happen is that's going to divide the country as opposed to unite us. But Joy Reid is saying, oh, that's fake history, right? Is anything I just said fake? Is anything I just said false? Did I make up any of that? Or did slavery just disappear on its own upon the will and the whims of the black slaves? All right, which one makes more sense? But of course, Joy Reid doesn't want to focus on any of that and instead wants to give the worst possible intentions to an entire race of people. Does she have any idea how awful she sounds right now, saying the things she's saying? If I were to say the exact same stuff as her and just swap out any other race, then I would be the worst person ever. But for some reason, whenever Joy Reid says it, it's totally fine to all of her acolyte followers and everyone else on the left, including this guy over here, okay? So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.